I wanted to take this time to do a little bit of a rant. Since my last video, I talked more about the nuances of what's going on with Palestine. And I just wanted to say that right now we are seeing what a revolution looks like right in front of our faces. We're seeing what it means to be a people being oppressed and a right-wing government that wants to colonize and exert its power over a group of people. And for at least Americans, I'm going to have to say that we really don't know what a real revolution is. People want to say, oh, the American Revolution, against the British. The thing is that was not a revolution for people like my ancestors. My German ancestors came over here in 1731. And so, for at least a couple generations, they were, of course, not American, and they definitely were not white. So, when the revolution happened, that was not for poor people, black people, women, poor immigrant farmers. That was not what the revolution was for. It was for the first white people in this country: Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, John Hancock, all the people that signed the Declaration. That was who the revolution was for. It's what we on the left call a bourgeoisie revolution. A revolution for the owning class to have the power instead of the monarchy. Now, of course, this is progress. Yes, it was a progressive movement, but ultimately it was not a revolution for the people. See, if we were to have any kind of similarity to something to compare what happened in American history to what the Palestinians are going through, it would be the slave uprisings, the First Nations people attacking U.S. Army camps, the Native people defending their lands against the encroaching settlers. If we had TikTok back in the colonial days, the government would be saying that Nat Turner and John Brown and Harriet Tubman and the Senator Cassius Clay from Kentucky, who Muhammad Ali was named after, they would be labeled terrorists. They would be labeled extremists. They would be labeled the extreme left. So the thing is that the Revolutionary War was not for people like my ancestors, and not for anybody else whose families have been in this country for a very long time, except if they were rich, white, preferably Anglo-descended landholders, people who owned slaves, people who owned mills, people who employed indentured servants like my original ancestors. 47% of German immigrants during that time were indentured servants. Yes, indentured servitude was not as bad as slavery, but it still was an oppressive, exploitative system designed to extract labor from as much as they could. And of course, getting more people over here meant to push more native people out. That was the goal. It was a settler colonial state. As Americans, we should know what that is. We should compare ourselves and realize that we, the European descended people, are the colonizers, are the settlers, are just as bad as what Israel is doing. Okay? We are not going to have a real revolution unless we actually go against the people who have been exploiting us ever since this country was founded. And that is the rich, landholding people that coincidentally subscribe with white supremacy, misogyny, patriarchy, and homophobia, and Christian nationalism.